that saying, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it? Well, last year, I feel like I finally perfected my Christmas tree. And this year, I am totally changing it up. Why? Because who doesn't love a good challenge? So y'all are going to see the end result pretty much the same time I see it. So hopefully I don't mess this up. In today's video, I'm decorating our entire living room, a console table, the mantle, and the massive Christmas tree. I'm going to walk you through my thought process, give you the best tips to decorate a Christmas tree. I do have a video out there with step-by-step process, which I stick by that. I use it every single year, so I'll be doing those same steps this year as well. I'll share with y'all my favorite lights, where and when I got everything, and just anything along the way. This is part 2 of my Christmas decorating series. It takes me 3 days to complete this room, and I love and hate every minute of it, but you guys know what I mean. If this is your first time finding me, then welcome. My name is Michelle. Obviously, I love Christmas and I love decorating for Christmas, getting creative, sometimes trying new things. Yes, it's stressful, but we get through it. And it turns out so beautiful in the end. I'm not a professional decorator. I've never worked in the decorating profession. I just look at Pinterest and try to recreate it. Over the years, I feel like I get a little bit better, a little more creative, and then I share all of the tips with y'all. I'm a mom of 3, and I also do lots of cleaning, organizing, and decluttering on my channel. I would obviously love for you to subscribe because we have so much fun throughout the year, and we have an amazing community here. But the first thing is, when you decorate for Christmas, where do you start? Do you start with your tree, your main tree? Do you start with a smaller table? Leave me a comment below. Let me know where you start. For some reason, I always start with these 2 pencil trees I got from Michael's 2 years ago. They're in my upstairs attic, so they're really easy to get to, and they are easy to unflock and put together. And for me, I just need to start with something easy to get that momentum going. My big tree is my favorite thing in my house, but it's a lot, especially since I'm starting almost from scratch this year. Then I just know it's going to be a lot of work. So I need to get into the decorating vibe before I pull that out. But let's go ahead and get started. I may be jumping back and forth a little bit from one area to the next, and I probably will be pretty chatty in this video. Well, I'm chatty in all my videos, but let's get started. So most important thing, regardless of what kind of tree you're putting up, is to fluff it out. I don't care what kind of tree it is. It's been sitting in a box for a year. You need to do some work on the branches and get those fluffed out the way that you want. And remember, you have a tree stand. So take advantage of the tree stand, because the taller the tree, the harder it is to get to the top and fluff it out. So you could always start with the top section, put that on the bottom of the tree stand, fluff that out, put it aside, and then finish fluffing the rest of your tree out. These are only 7-foot trees, so I was able to fluff them out without a ladder. The famous horse picture, oh my gosh, I've never taken this off the wall. I always say I'm going to replace it, and I never do. But this year I did buy this Christmas tree from Hobby Lobby, and in my last video I used this sticky putty, and it's supposed to work like command hooks and stick pictures, and I used it for small pictures in the bathroom, and I bought it for my mom's house. So I was like, oh, instead of drilling new holes in the wall, I'll just stick this sticky putty on this painting. I put a lot of it on all the way on the edges. Totally didn't work. So of course, that's the way I hang pictures. The way Chris hangs pictures is the right way. Okay, whatever, measure it, do all these things, hang it, and it'll stay. I know, I was just trying to take the easy way out. So later on, it's time to get the 12-foot tree out. And in order for the tree to fit in our living room, we have to rearrange, move some furniture out, move the couch way back, and then the only The only space to put it is in this corner next to the fireplace. So we do have a slim tree because we cannot get the full, tree because it won't fit. We have 18 feet ceilings, but just in like our entryway area and in this living room area. So the space to put it is limited, but it's always worked out right in this area. This is my opportunity to clean up a little bit when we move the couches and move the furniture, so I'm going to take advantage of that.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe, and I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
Well, nice. It's always fun to see what treasures you can find underneath the couch, including the remote control to our soundbar that we have been looking for who knows how long. But I'm not doing a massive deep clean here because if I spent all my time getting this space deep cleaned and spotless, then I would never get the tree up. So I'm going to do a kind of a quick clean and then start working on the tree.
Longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out of nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment.
Probably after Christmas is when I will do a lot more deep cleaning when everything is up and away. But we do have to move the couch all the way back to the back door in order to make space for the tree. And you see the little space right there on the right? That's where we're going to put the tree. So in this upstairs attic attached to the playroom, I don't know why there's an attic right there, but it's kind of genius for the amount of Christmas decor that I have, is where I keep the tree, and I have 2 different tree bags to fit it in. The green tree bag is a little bit smaller and it has the top 2 pieces on there, and then the black bag has the bottom 3 pieces. So it's extremely heavy, and instead of bringing down all of the boxes, then I just take it down piece by piece. Both of the tree bags are from Amazon, and I think the black tree bag said it was supposed to fit a 12-foot tree, but it didn't. Or even if I could fit it in there, I couldn't get it through the door. So that's why I just thought it was easier to get 2 different bags. Another game changer for me, if you're decorating a tree that is larger than, I want to say like 9 feet, is to get 2 tree stands. This way you can decorate it and unfluff it and do what you need to in different sections without having to use a ladder, or very minimal having to use a ladder. The first year or 2 with this tree, I would put everything together, which is the most traditional way to do it. And then I would be up and down a ladder. Like to unfluff the top of the tree, it would take me probably an hour because I was like up and down the ladder, trying to go through every branch, going back down, moving the ladder over 2 inches, going back up the ladder. You guys get it. So I started just taking the top 2 sections and then leaning it against a wall, trying to unfluff it as best as I could, and then having Chris help me put the sections on the top of the tree already all fluffed out. Then after doing that for 1 or 2 years, I want to say this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, why don't I just get a different stand and not only just fluff it out on a different stand, but decorate it on a different stand. This will save me so much time up and down the ladder. Plus, I am a little bit scared of heights. I will admit that. So I wanted to be on the ladder as minimal as possible. But in order to decorate it and put the top piece on, make sure that you do have help. I don't want you to try and do it on your own, and make sure that it's not too heavy to do it. So whenever I get to that part, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. We'll do 2 sections at a time and put that on. But you could always just leave the top section off and decorate the top section, and then put that one on at the end all decorated. But I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when I get to that part. But here this has 5 sections total. I'll do 1 section at a time, unfluff everything so that I can get to it, and then put another section on before I start unfluffing that one. So now I'm getting to the 3rd layer. I'm going to start taking advantage of that extra tree stand, unfluff it on the floor here, and then we'll move it to the bigger tree. So trending tree types this year. I start getting ideas because I get ads for, all of the beautiful home decor stores, Pottery Barn, West Elm, Balsam Hill, and I kind of start looking at the way that they decorated their trees and how they decorated like their mantles and stuff like that. And I'm already exhausted, y'all. I've been up and down the stairs 5 times. This tree is heavy. But anyway, we're moving the sections from one stand to the next. But I'll start getting ideas and kind of see the trends there. And I'm noticing there's not a lot of flocked trees. And I just bought this flocked tree 2 years ago. In fact, almost all the trees in my house are flocked. So instead of going and buying a brand new tree that is, trending, I think the birch trees, they're so pretty and they are trending, and kind of like that wildernessy, foresty look is trending as well. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I absolutely love it, but I just can't buy all new stuff. So what I plan to do is keep my flocked tree because it's pretty much brand new, and then start incorporating some smaller trends to it. And you guys will see, you'll know what I'm talking about later on in this video. But after I've kind of already picked my theme, I unflocked the tree, I'm going to be adding additional lights, and these are called cluster lights. I have received more comments about these lights than any comment I've ever received on a video in my entire life. These are called cluster lights. I originally got these lights from a store in Round Top, Texas called Paul Michael, and they would come to a huge event in Houston called the Nutcracker Market, and that's where I bought a bunch of boxes. Last year, I had a lot of trouble finding them online. In fact, the last 2 years, I've had a lot of trouble finding this exact brand. It's called Designer's Excellence, and I just checked on Amazon, and they do have the exact ones that I'm using. They are the Designer's Excellent brand, and I am using the warm white and the green strand. I showed a picture of it right there. I will link it down below as well. This is the 52-foot strand, and I am using 3 52-foot strands for the 12-foot tree. So about 156-ish feet of lights for the 12-foot tree, and I did not wrap every branch. So that was me even being, cautious about how many lights I've used. Last year, I wrapped too much on the bottom, and then the top looked a little janky because I was like trying to hurry and wrap it before I ran out of lights. So here I just did in and out somewhat, but not wrapping every branch. If I had like any tip for a Christmas tree, I think just adding additional lights is going to make it look 10 times more magical. That would be the one thing that I would do different. Even if you don't use ribbon or fancy picks or anything like that, I would say go with the lights. In my video last week on my 7-foot tree, I used cascading lights. So you don't wrap them around, you wrap them down, but I'll link that video below and you can check it out. This is called a starburst light. And a quick backstory on where I got this light. So earlier this year, Chris quit his corporate job to pursue his landscaping business. And during the wintertime, he hangs and designs, does all the Christmas lights. So he has a contract with a company to get these different types of lights that they don't really sell to the public, which sucks because I can't link this exact light. But usually these lights are like the balls that you hang in your tree outside maybe. And he got this one light. He's like, we can figure out what to do with this, how to design it. And I was going through an Instagram Reels, and I saw somebody had like these lights sticking out just similar to this light. So I decided to put that starburst light on the top of our tree. I'll try to find something similar to link, or if you search starburst lights, you can probably find something a little bit similar, and then you can use it as a tree topper. All right, so after the tree is set up, the lights are on the tree, then we move on to the ribbon. So I usually decorate my tree in silver, gold, and white. I always keep it neutral. This year I'm changing it. I'm adding color. So I'm going to do red and silver and white, which means I had to get all new ribbon. I got this ribbon from that store called Craftex, but depending on how you want your ribbon to look, because there's so many different ways to put ribbon in a tree. You can, have the smaller ribbon, you can layer it, you can get the thicker ribbon. I personally like having the thicker ribbon, and make sure that the edge of the ribbon is wired. That way you can really, put it and shape it in the tree. Now, the advantage of cutting your ribbon into strands, these are probably like 12 to 18 inch strands, is that you don't have to use as much because you don't have to weave it in and out of the tree, especially a 12-foot tree, just to get like 3 layers of ribbon, 12 times 3, you can figure it out. Here, you can just get like maybe 1 or 2, or I guess I have 3 different rolls of ribbon, and I can kind of pair it with different colored ribbon and cascade it in and out of the tree in different ways, the way that I like. Now, the downside of cutting your ribbon is that once it's cut, but it's okay. You can still make it work. So what I do is I just weave it in, and then I attach it to a branch. Now, if you're working with a real tree, then you can buy like the little pipe cleaners, or the pipe cleaners that look like tree branches, and hook them in. Last year, I did my loops on the tree a lot longer. This year, I'm double looping it. So as you can see, I hooked the top to a tree branch, and then I did a really small loop. I hooked it again, and then it's either an extra loop or it's just going to be like the ribbon tail. I personally like the ribbon to be layered, and because the ribbon that I'm using they're both 4 inches wide, I'll just pull it apart. Now, if I had ribbon that was different sizes, then you can put the smaller ribbon in the front and then the larger ribbon in the back and layer it that way. So once you have all of your ribbon on the tree, the next thing that you want to do, if you have them, is to add picks. So you see how I'm decorating in 2 different sections. So these are 2 sections put together, and this is actually the top of the tree. So I'm putting all these picks in here, and Chris is like, why are these things sticking out? He's like, if you make this tree top too heavy, then I'm not going to be able to get it on the top of the tree. So don't make it too heavy. So I did not, after I put these up there, I kind of stopped. Otherwise, I would have just kept going and made the top look like a humongous firework. But the next thing I'm going to do is add these beautiful picks throughout the whole tree. I got all of these picks again from that store called Craftex. I went way over budget, but they have similar poinsettias, butterflies, cardinals, like all different kinds of these beautiful picks to add to your tree at home, at Hobby Lobby, at all of your regular Christmas stores. So you can certainly get creative on what you add to your tree. It does not have to be just plain ball ornaments. Obviously, I add a lot. I do know that the minimal look is going on right now. You can certainly do that. I just love having it look full and vibrant and glittery and all of the things. But it's your home, it's your tree. Do what you want to look at every single day, because you're going to be the one turning it on and looking at it every night. So do y'all remember the steps so far? The very first one I didn't talk about was to pick a color scheme, pick a theme, get, all of your ornaments and decor that you need. Second step is to fluff out your whole tree. If you want to do it in 2 different sections like I did, for me it's easier, then you can do it that way. The next step was to add your extra lights, which are game changer. The next step is to add your ribbon. You don't have to necessarily cut it if you don't want to, but if you do choose to add ribbon, then that would be next. Then your next step is going to be to add your picks. And then once you've gotten that on your tree, then you can add your specialty ornaments. Now, these specialty ornaments are ornaments that are not basically your standard ball ornaments. Your ball ornaments are going to go last on your tree, which I just added a couple ball ornaments here and there. I don't love the hooks. In my last video, you saw my hooks get so tangled up. So if I can avoid ball ornaments, then that is what I will opt for, but I just used a couple here and there. So we have 2 sections, and this is what I mean about adding it after you're decorated it. So you do need someone to help you. It does get heavy. Chris and I have been doing this for several years, so I'm confident that he can do it safely on the ladder. So what I will then go back and do is fix that layer in between and make sure that there's no empty spots where the 2 parts connected. Another debate is, do you decorate the back of your tree? Well, it depends where your tree is. I do not go all out on the back of my tree. I focus on the front only, the parts that will be displayed. I used to decorate the entire tree, and then I'm like, what's the point? Nobody's going to see back here, and it's just more work. So typically I do not decorate the back of my tree. But as with anything, it's up to you. Next, I have the tree just about done, but I am going to work on creating the garland for the mantle. So I've been seeing the cedar garland trending a lot, and I mentioned before that what I like to do to get inspiration and ideas is go to the high designer store and look at how they're advertising their products, and then kind of mimic or copy their design, just maybe with some cheaper products, or if all else fails, I may end up buying what they're advertising. But I saw this design, I think at Crate and Barrel, and they were advertising their berry strand, and they had it wrapped in like this beautiful thick cedar garland. But I thought if I just bought cedar garland that is just regular green to recreate that look, it would not go with everything I have flocked, my flocked tree, my flocked wreath, everything that I have. So when I went to Hobby Lobby just to look around, I decided to get the gold glitter tipped cedar garland. I put a picture right here for the one that I got, and the frosted pine garland, and then weave them together so that I still get the cedar look with a little bit of the frosted look, so it'll go with the rest of my house. And then I bought these bunches of berries that I'm going to incorporate throughout it. The fuller that the garland looks, in my opinion, the better it looks. So I'm going to use pipe cleaners to tie them together and then see how it turns out.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, and that's what we do. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart.
So I have 2 of the strands tied together, and I'm just going to kind of open it up, fluff it out. That way you can see the frosted pine as well as the cedar. And then next I'm going to attach them together to make it extra long, and then continue to use the pipe cleaners to tie the cedar and the pine together. I am going to cascade it down just on one side like that picture showed, because I think it almost works perfect, because whenever you kind of walk into our front door, you cannot see, with the tree there, you cannot see one side of the fireplace mantle anyway. So it works out perfect. Next, I'm going to add those same Designer's Excellence cluster lights to this garland. Now, this is a smaller strand. I don't remember the exact feet size, whatever. I think it's probably around 20 feet, maybe a little bit more, but not as long as the ones I have for the Christmas tree. So I'm going to wrap that in here. And because my Christmas tree is right next to this garland, I want it to all twinkle or flicker together. When I went to one of the designer warehouses, they had like these beautiful garlands all over these, decorative fireplaces. And I asked the person there, I'm like, how do you get the garland to stay on the fireplace? And she's like, oh, you just nail it in, use really strong nails. And I'm like, well, I can't really nail it into my fireplace. It'll ruin the fireplace. So I saw on Instagram a reel or a TikTok or something, they used these command hooks. So I went ahead and ordered these command hooks. I was a little bit hesitant because this garland is, already double layered, and I'm going to be adding some of the berries to it. I was nervous if this was going to stay. So we put 3 command hooks. We started it on the very end. We also put one in the middle and then on the edge. And these command hooks have held up really good. So going forward, I am going to use these command hooks. They work great. What I've had done in the past was just try and put a garland like on top of the fireplace mantle. We have that mirror that sticks out, and that mirror is secured into the wall, but it is like designed to look like it's just leaning against the wall. So I do not have any room to put anything on top. Usually everything just falls. So I like that I can put this on the front of the mantle, kind of like the picture that I wanted, and it stays secure. Next are the thick berry bunches. So I also debated just adding a strand of berries around it, but instead I just went with getting bunches and then sticking it into the garland. I would need a lot more berries to accomplish the look in my inspo pic, but I only bought like 5 bunches of berries because I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out. But the way that I have it, I'm absolutely in love. It's following the seasonal trends while also working with my tree and some of the decor that I already had. The final touch is the stockings, and I used to have stocking holders, but I was at Hobby Lobby, saw these command hooks. I have broke so many stocking holders by trying to put them on and then falling over. But I had Chris go ahead and even them out, and I'm also going to add these. This is actually the final touch, is a couple of the cardinals I took from the tree. They just red cardinals represent people that we've lost in the past. So it's kind of like they are watching over us. So I added that, and I feel like everything is just in the details. All right, moving on to the media table. I bought this. This was the very first berry garland I bought throughout the season. Like I said, I just started purchasing things, not fully knowing how it was going to all tie in together. This one was from Walmart, and it's great, but the berries fall off. I mean, they are shedding everywhere. They shed all over my car. They shed all over this table, all over the floor. So I'm wrapping them in this existing garland that I already had, and I already had wrapped like little fairy lights into this one. So I'm just going to add that here to tie into the mantle. So remember this console table? This is where I first started off. I didn't want to start decorating this until I had the rest of the living room done. So now I can get a better picture of how I want to do this space. So this garland is one that I got at Home Goods. I wrapped my own lights around it, and I used to put this one on the media table, but I thought that it would go great over here on this table. Again, with the berries, I want to tie everything together, so I just have like 3 or 4 berries that I added here. And then the reindeer I saw at Hobby Lobby, I absolutely loved. So I went ahead and added those there. And then these small pencil trees, again, I'm going to add a couple of berries here. So lastly, to finish up this area, I'm just going to grab a box of some of my existing decor. These are a box full of some of my longer Christmas trees, and also I have to pull out Santa. Now I do put things up, take things down, and then ultimately I just decided to keep it kind of simple. I pull out one of my flocked snowy Christmas trees and then one of my gold stick Christmas trees, and then add Santa with the reindeer, and then keep this area pretty simple. Next, when I thought I was almost done, I have to pull out all of my wreaths. Now this one is my main wreath that matches a Christmas tree and also goes above the mantle. And in order, again, to tie it with everything, I'm just adding a couple frosted berries. Now I did wrap my own lights onto this wreath as well. So the lights that are on the tree, the lights that are on this wreath, and the lights that are on the garland are all synced together. I saw this wreath from the Heart and Hand collection at Target, and it is so beautiful in person. So I ended up putting it on the back door. The lighting makes it difficult to see the color, but it is beautiful. And to finish off for the couch, I needed a nice, comfy, cozy red blanket that I also got from Target. And I did use some existing pillows that I had from previous years. The reindeer pillows are from Michael's. I'm just going to finish up a few other things, and then I will give you guys the home tour.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.